Shivak is a longtime solar astronomer, imager, and telescope maker. We are originally from Ohio, but now reside in Arizona, and moved there from Ohio to pursue his serious solar imaging. His works have been published in several magazines, including Discovery magazine, which featured his NASA picture of the day entitled "The Giant and the Sun," the sunspot from October 12th, 2014, which was also a collaborative effort with renowned solar imager Alan Friedman. So Randy Shivak will now get into the technical aspect of solar imaging and explaining how he does what's on the screen there. So let's welcome Randy Shivak.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, when you see a real nice picture, as John had mentioned before, everybody wants to know, how do you do that? And we're going to cover some of that today. John went over the CSC, the clear sky chart, and this is for Prescott. And John, you gotta love that. The first line here is your cloud cover. Okay, perfect. Next line is your transparency. Perfect. Next line is your seeing conditions. That's 5.0 up until 12 noon. So one of the first things I do in preparation is I look at the clear sky chart to see the conditions. If it's not good, I've got a 152 that I use, and of course the big scope that you've all seen out here, the 228. I only take that out if the seeing conditions are either a 4 or a 5. If they're a 3 or a 4, I'll take out my 6-inch scope. Another thing that I'll take a look at is the actual weather conditions. What you really want to see is a sustained high pressure building over your state, wherever you're at. And of course, my previous state, Ohio, always low pressure. And you would always have the jet stream coming down from Canada and riding over Ohio. That was one of the reasons that we made our move. It's like, I've had enough of this, I've got to get out of here. But these are things that you take a look at. I've done some experimentation with Airy Labs SSM, or solar scintillation monitor. I think it's a pretty nifty gadget if you like gadgets and like to really take a look at the actual scene, what's going on. As you can see, the scene, runs all over the place. This is what you're seeing. This is a breakdown more or less minute by minute here. And so what you want to do is record at the bottom of these valleys. So, the scene can last for over a minute or so. But that's when you want to take your pictures at that time. They have a piece of software, Jenica Astro, has a software program that works with the SSM and will trigger your camera. You can set it at a certain arc seconds here, and your camera will trigger on. If you set it at 1 arc second, it'll trigger on and trigger off again when it goes above that predetermined amount. Okay, here we have again, and you can see the scene right here as time goes on. Here's 8, 10 to 9, 9:30. And if you look at the very bottom sections, even at 9:30 over in this area here, you're getting just a little over, maybe 1.25 arc second. And that is very good seeing. When you take a picture, and I used autostacker 2. How many here use autostacker 2? Okay, quite a few. If you notice, this actually is from one of the older versions. It doesn't have the vertical lines here, but if you cut this in half, right here you have a little over 50% quality graph. Now look at this one. Here you're out to around 70%. That means 70% of my 3,000 frames are at least 75% quality. Now you can do some real manipulation of your image there. You can sharpen it much more. You're not going to go pixelating on it. This is what you're looking for right here. Many times, if the scene isn't good, I get about a 5% quality. That's it. I'm done. I won't even process those. And that's another thing. I'm a perfectionist, and if you want to be known for good quality pictures, don't post any that aren't. and then that way, see, if you don't ever post them, everybody will just say, oh yeah, that fellow so-and-so. Boy, he takes really good pictures. I take a lot of bad pictures, but nobody sees them.
Yep.
I had two different scopes. I got three. I had a 152 here, and this is my 6-inch astrophysics that I primarily use now. I sold off my LUT, and now pretty much all I use is these 6-inch AP and the 228. Here you can see once again getting ready. It got to the point where I bought the 152, the LUT, for a specific reason. It has a wider pass band than my Daystar, so I kind of wanted it as my go-to prominence telescope. And then I had the 0.5 angstrom pass band filter on the AP, and that was going to be my chromosphere one. But it got to the point where I was just, all my really good pictures ended up being with the AP. And they were both 6-inch scopes. This is the AP right here. Notice that I have an ERF energy rejection filter on the outside, on the front, on the objective here. The 9-inch outside there has an internally mounted ERF way down at the bottom. So this is primarily my go-to scope, unless the scene conditions are really good. And of course, this is the Leviathan here. Once again, notice you do not have an ERF on the front. It's located way down here. And this is the Daystar quantum filter with the heater. I used, here you have 2 buttons here to increment your wavelength by 1/10 of an angstrom. And you could go plus or minus 1 angstrom, so this is at the top end right here, 3.8. So you can